Good afternoon, or I should say, it is 12:53 in the morning here where I am in Medellin, Colombia. And I knew this question was coming, so I was kind of prepared for it. So I wanted to come on and go ahead and do this live. That light back there is a little bit annoying. All right, so I want to go ahead and do this live stream. So for those of you catching on the replay, any other questions you may have about this topic, please leave it below in the comment section. So first, let me thank T Mix and Love and Freedom for the comments they left behind regarding the last video I put out talking about this subject. So with that being said, let's get into this. Home health care versus home care. What is the difference? Well, the difference is basically right there in the name. One requires a level of care where the other one does not. One will have some type of healthcare provider, which will be the home healthcare aid, versus the other one will have someone who may be in the medical field, but they're more of a helper than they are in actual medicine. So home care. Let's talk about that one real quick because I gave some examples in that last video I put out. T Mix actually has a home care person who cares for her, and I wanted to go over that real quick because there are some things that are very similar. But when my grandparents were getting care, this was way back in the days. This is well over 20 years ago. So a lot of things has changed back then. Technology's gotten better, and now delivery services are more available. What's up, Barry? How you doing tonight? Sure, you're doing well at Boeing. But I wanted to just come on, man, and run through a couple things real quick. But those are the biggest differences between home care versus home health care. Okay. One requires an actual person in medical, maybe a physical therapist, maybe a nurse, or could be a nurse practitioner. And then the other one is more of a, I don't know what you call them, LPN, CPN. I forgot what you call them. I don't know the actual name for the person, but they're in the medical field, but they're like under a nurse. I forgot exactly what you call that person. Okay. But that is the difference between the two because I knew that question was coming. And then as far as aid and attendance goes, when it comes to those two. Okay. So there are people who are receiving aid and attendance and they're getting home care, excuse me. But the timing of the ones that you get it makes a difference, okay? Because there's a situation where people have gotten home care first or home health care first, and then they apply for aid and attendance. And this is where that conflict kind of comes in because you're applying for something you're already getting from the VA. So sometimes they have a difficult time getting approved for that. Not that they can't get approved, I just say they have a difficult time because they're already receiving the care. So that's something you guys want to keep in mind when you're going to apply for these benefits. Just know that sometimes when you already have something from the VA and you're going to apply for something else, you may find it a little difficult in order to get it. I'm not saying you can't get it. I'm just saying that it can be difficult. Okay. Um, but I also wanted to talk, man, because I just got off with Love and Freedom. And I've seen vets here, man, where we go to that third party. Some of these guys, man, are in really, really rough condition. They come with the buttons on their shirt all like twisted to one side. They can't get their shirt on correctly. Literally, one guy came in with his shoes on backwards, left on the right and right on the left. And they had to fix his shoes when he came into the office. And the only thing I kept saying to myself is, well, dude, you're never going to get the care you need here. The care you need is back in the States. And unfortunately, though, man, a lot of people don't want to hear that. I mean, I know several vets who are here now who literally need help every day at their home because I get questions here all the time from them. Like, well, man, is there any way I can get aid and attendance? I just need somebody to help clean around the house, wash my clothes, man. I can't do it. My back is so bad, this, that, and the third. And I always try to explain to them, When you're outside the country, the US or US territories, you can't get that kind of help. The only way you're going to get it is to go back to the States or go to somewhere to a US territory. They don't want to do it. And I try to put myself in their shoes, but I can't. I don't know what that's like yet. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know what that experience is like when you need help, you can't get the help you need. And honestly, you don't have the income here in order to hire the help that you need. I have not been in that situation. I've been very fortunate. I do have a great support system here in Medellin, Colombia. That helps out a lot. Okay. I think that's another issue that we need to touch on in a different video, which is loneliness and boredom. That in turn leads to depression. When you don't have anyone to really talk to, you don't really have anyone you can confide in, you're bored to death, that could definitely lead to depression. Uh, Not speaking to someone else or talking to someone else on a regular basis. Because I know some of these guys here, and some of the reason why people go to countries like this is because it's easy to get companionship where you can just sit and have somebody just talk. You just pay them to just sit there and talk to you. Um, you can do the same thing in the States. But for some people, there's the extra, the drug element that keeps them here. And like I said, I'm very fortunate to have a support system here where I have people who actually call and check on me every single day. What's up, you insomnia people? You just had to bring me up, putting on two different shoes. Well, I'm just speaking honestly, man. I remember sitting at the ACA. The guy came in and he was walking kind of funny. We looked down at his feet, and I'm like, he got his shoes on backwards. And at that point, I just knew it's like, bro, you're never gonna get the kind of help you need here in this country. You're gonna have to go back to the States or go to US territory. But and people hear me say that, and a lot of times people take what I say the wrong way because I'm very upfront. I'm very blunt with what I say. I'm not one of those people who like hem and haw or kind of like sugarcoat it to make it sound like I'm kind of a matter of fact, you know. But in those situations when I see stuff like that, I be wanting to tell them, bro, you much better off going back to the States. I don't know why you here trying to live like this because I know you got to be a wreck at home. If leaving your house, you got to have people put your shoes on correctly when you get to the spot here, the HCA. It's got to be a mess at your house. It's got to be a wreck. You doing anything, but drugs, which I'm very fortunate. I've never been addicted to any kind of drugs, but they got to be powerful as hell to make you go outside like that. You know, shirt not even buttoned up correctly. You halfway up one side, the other side buttons not even right. Just looking horrible, man. No haircut, looks like for weeks. I just, I don't know. I don't know. You be wanting to help people, you can give them information, but it's up to them to take it. They're adults. I know sometimes you guys are like, well, man, you should call the VA and let them know what's going on here. What can they do? These are adult people who made their own decision to leave. So it's like, what can you do at that point? Um, Other than get on this channel, man, and just try to reach people, try to talk to them, try to get them to maybe see it a different way. I know going back to the States is not something a lot of people who leave the States want to hear about, but I know they're going to form a point for myself. I'm going to have to go back to the States because I know at some point it's going to get really bad with my legs that I'm not going to have a choice. And I know it's coming. And I have to accept it when it's coming. That's the scary part for me, that I know it's coming. But if you prepare for it now, it won't be as bad when you do have to go back. And that's what I try to focus on. Um, but I really want to talk to you guys tonight for a little while about loneliness and boredom, because that can lead to a lot of different things, unfortunately. And just overall being happy and having contact with people. Um, it's one thing to be an introvert where you're always at home, but usually introverts have somebody that they talk to, whether they're talking online like this, or they're talking on the phone, or they may have that one person that comes by and see them and check on them and talk to them, right? Well, they do have that human contact. Now, I've read, and I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but I read that you should at least have some type of human contact for a healthy mind. Now, I don't know how true that is, but I do know that I have enough people around me in my current circle that that's not an issue. They're gonna call every morning, Erica every morning on time at 7:30 before she get ready to head out the door. She's hitting me up if she's not already here. The same with my driver, same with my housekeeper, same with some of my other friends that are here. I have constant people calling and checking on me, besides family and friends in the States. So my day is filled answering either WhatsApp messages or text messages of constant being checked on. At first, it used to irritate me because I'm like, why in the fuck are these people calling me all the goddamn time? But then I had to realize, bro, you ain't healthy. You're not the most healthy, stable walking person. You are listed as a fall hazard. So, of course, people are going to check on you to make sure you're all right. And that's the way you have to look at it sometimes, man, is change of attitude, from being, stop fucking calling me to, hey, thanks for calling. I appreciate you checking on me. That's something that I had to change and learn how to do here. What else Mr. Collins said here? Man, if I had women friends like you have, I would never be depressed. Every time I look at them, this is why I'm not going back. Hey, it's fun being around them and hanging around them, dude. But there's going to come a point, though. I know I'm going to go back to the States. I know this. Um, it's just it's just what it is. You know, we can't always have everything we want. All you can do is try to live your best life that you have right now, and be thankful for whatever position that you're in, because it could be a lot worse. Every time I go out and I look at the street, man, I see people out there begging, washing windows, or trying to sell that little candy, or doing whatever kind of act, to try to get some money. I just know how blessed I am to be in the position that I am. Um, and I never take that for granted. There was a point in my life, man, where I took everything I was doing for granted, until you really get out and you see the world and you see how the other half of the world lives, or other countries live. It really opens your eyes. It really truly makes you realize, dude, how fortunate you are to be where you're from, and the things that you're able to get. Because I see a lot of disabled people here, and they don't get the same opportunities that we get from the States. Um, Even the raise that they're getting ready to get next year, 200,000 pesos. So they're going to go from like $280 a month to $305 a month, you know, for the basic salary. Again, it's just looking at it sometimes, man, I have to realize, and I've really looked into how blessed I am to be where I am in life. I think I'm going back home is scary for some people. They don't want to start over. And I get that. I do get that, man. But that doesn't mean you got to go back to your same state or your same place, or go back to the mainland USA anyway. You mean you got you got Hawaii, you got the Virgin Islands, you got Puerto Rico. You have other options you can go to. But it's just sometimes when you need care and the type of care that you need, you're not always going to get it in these countries unless you're willing to pay for it. And the honest answer to that is a lot of people can't pay for it. They're not financially in a position where they can pay for it. That's just the truth. You're talking about getting round the clock care with a nurse here, even though it's a much lower cost than it would be in the States. You got to look at it honestly. You're only getting $3,300 a month. You got to pay for the healthcare facility and a nurse. That's going to eat up most of that. You're not going to have much left, even here. You're not going to have much left. A lot of these people don't keep themselves connections in the States. Yeah, that's unfortunate. There should be someone, I try to keep an American number. I still have my Google Fi number. That way, any family members that I haven't talked to in a while, if something happens or they just want to talk, they can still reach out to me. I do keep an American address and I'm registered in the state of Florida. That's where I vote. I get an absentee ballot every year and I vote. Um, but that is true. There are some people who have cut off all contact with the states. And if there's a situation where they got to go back, then it's like, where you going back to? Do you have somewhere you can go? Or you just, like you said, starting completely over. That's going to be a sad thing. But some people have saved for that and prepared for that. Others have not. The Bible said you're going to have the poor with you always. That's why you and love and freedom can't get rid of me. I let's see. Living in Mexico, what's going on? Hey, Markel. Here in Mexico, my caregiver, Sergio, was originally my bodyguard. I hired a nurse just to teach Sergio everything needed, and then I got my aid in attendance. He types all my messages here. Okay, cool, man. I'm glad you put this information out there living in Mexico. So, see, you're in a very different situation where you are in Mexico. You were born in Mexico. I'm sure you got a family in Mexico, and you get more than the average veteran is going to get with aid and attendance. So, it's a little bit different with your situation than it is for most people's situation who don't qualify for aid and attendance yet. They just need a little bit more help around the house, which is where home care would come in with the VA, because there would be no charge for you back in the States, where they would come out and all those things that you guys constantly asking me about: cleaning, cooking, preparing your meals, setting your medications, things like that. That's what home care is. You need that care. Unfortunately, though, you're not going to get it in countries like this, not unless you're paying for it. You got to pay for that out of pocket. There's so many things that are extra that are needed by veterans, Social Security recipients that are here that only can be found in the States. They're not set up to give you that type of care, and not that they would, but because they can't do that in another country. You shouldn't expect them to do that in another country. That's going above and beyond anything that they can actually do in another sovereign country. You can't do that. No. I've had debates with people about this, about the level of care in countries like this, and it's like, dude, you got to think, man. You're basically telling the U.S. they should control these other countries, because you're saying that these other countries that don't have this kind of care, or the U.S. doesn't provide that kind of care, because you decided to leave the U.S. and come to this country. The U.S. has no right to tell these countries what they should and should not do with their citizens. You volunteered to leave. You volunteered to become a citizen or retiree in whatever country you're in. So you got to abide by their rules and their laws. And that's one that they have an agreement with. You can't just expect the U.S. to go in and do everything for you like they do in the States. It just doesn't work like that when you're overseas. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, guys, before I get off tonight, because I don't want to stay on too long, is pricing, upcoming pricing. One of the things that was brought to my attention, and I put a link out recently in the community page on my other channel, I put a link out showing where digital nomads in Mexico have priced out a lot of the local Mexicans who were living in a specific area in Mexico City. And they were discussing it, and then I heard the pros and the cons of it. But one of the things that kind of got brushed over when they were talking about the pros of it is that they were trying to make the point that the owners of the apartments, the owners of the home that are renting, they're making a lot more money now, which is true. But for the people who decided that they're going to try to rent and stay in the same area, they've been priced out. So has a lot of the retirees who were there simply on Social Security. And that's the same thing that's happening here that doesn't get talked about, that a lot of people like to leave out. I'm going to go more in depth on this and give some prime examples on tomorrow's live show. But I just want to say this, man. If you're somewhere and you're barely making it, and you know that there's been an influx, and there's about to be a large influx of nomads here, digital nomads. Now, people don't think digital nomads make real money. Some actually do. They have limits like $740 here, all the digital nomad needs. Yeah, some people are going to fit in that category, but the vast majority of them are not going to be in that category. They're going to be in a much higher category. And what's going to happen is simply what's happening right now. People are getting priced out. Prime example, my apartment goes for about, right now, I think I pay $730 something a month for this apartment, $730 a month. A 2-bedroom here, not even a year ago, was it a year ago? 2 years ago, was around $900 some dollars a month. That same 2-bedroom apartment now, it's $1,400 a month. $1,400. So it jumped $500 in 2 years. What do you think it's going to jump next year? 15, 16? And as the people who could afford to be here couldn't afford to be here, they're going to move further out and push the people who could only afford 500 and 600 further out. You guys get my example of what I'm saying? Slowly, the people who are here, who are barely making it here, are going to get pushed out. They're going to get pushed to where people they don't want to be around is the only place they can afford to live. That's exactly what's happening. And that's what's being explained in that video that I put in the post. As more influx come, they're bringing in more money, which drives up the price. And if all you got is this, but the more that comes in and more people want to pay, that's going to push this person out, which is going to lead other people to be pushed out. And as the price keeps climbing, right, there's going to be less and less locals and more foreigners. You guys understand what I'm saying? That's the reason why I tell people whenever they ask me about living in these countries, you need minimum $6,000 now. If you're going to live south of the border, you need minimum $6,000. Minimum. For me, I say $6,000. And the prime example of that is what's happening now. It's happening right now. If you know anyone living in these foreign countries right now, I could almost guarantee you they're probably not, especially if they're on the lower end of the income scale coming from the States, they're probably not in the same apartment they've been in since they've been there. They're going to get pushed further out. One veteran got 5 years and wife got 3 years, getting aid in attendance, said he couldn't walk and couldn't use his hand, but got cat litter, 10-pound bag on his shoulder and bags in his hand. Yeah. That's going to happen, man. People are going to try whatever to get that extra money. Let's see. I saw a video, Mexicans complaining about gentrification in Mexico City from foreigners. Yeah, it's a complaint here. It's a huge complaint here. Not many people talk about it. Not many people actually hear about it unless you're around a lot of locals who talk about it. It is a problem. It is. Even in this building I'm in, you see every year they slowly get pushed out. Because you know, the longer you here, the more you start seeing the same people over and over again, like in any apartment building. And then one day you see them, they're moving out. You're like, damn, well, they must have found a new place. No, they can't afford to rent anymore. Every year here since I've been here, the rent has gone up 100,000 pesos. Fortunately, the peso, has been the dollar has been rising as well because the peso's been going down. So it is very negligible for me when we do get a price hike. So like it went up 100,000 this year. Well, it only went up the equivalent of about $20. What was that? $20 to me is nothing, but to someone else who could barely afford to be here, you rent up another 100,000 pesos. Well, that drove me out. I can't. I'm gonna have to move. I'm gonna have to move to an area not as nice as this one. That's gonna be 5 to 600. Okay. Well, that means when you move there, the people know that you moved there, know what you make. What does that do? Increase the price of rent, which means those other people in there now gotta go because they're gonna fill it up with other people. That's just the market, man. That's how it works. Another issue is a lot of people saying how cheap a place is without knowing the original. JX, you hit it on the head. You hit it on the head, bro. It kills me whenever people say it's so much cheaper here. Well, and I'm be done with this video, man. Well, it works like this, okay? It depends on where you are in this city. And I will say this, just so we clear. If you're in a barrio, and for any of you all that live in barrios, there is a lot of convenience of living in a barrio. I actually stayed a couple of nights in a barrio just to see how it is. I just wanted to hear the noise level. I wanted to hear what it was like in the mornings, what it was like sleeping through the night. And trust me, I was so paranoid that I really didn't even sleep that night because I didn't know what to expect. But it was pretty smooth. I stayed 2 nights. First night, I got no sleep. I was super paranoid because you hear all these different things, right? The second night, I slept like a baby. Didn't even care no more. I was like, I ain't gonna happen here. Slept like a baby. But I will make a couple caveats. I didn't have my Apple Watch on. Matter of fact, I wore no watch. I took one phone. I took no cameras and no electronics of any kind. I just had the one flip phone because if anybody wanted to steal it, they can take that one. I don't care about it. I just had that one flip phone. I kept no money on me other than I think 50 mil peso, might have been $15. And I had my one debit card and one credit card. That was it. So if anything was going to happen, they weren't going to get much. And it wasn't what I thought it was, right? It wasn't bad because in the barrios, dude, there is so much convenience in the barrios. And I want to make sure I explain this right now in the barrios. Okay. Where Erica lives, literally, you walk out the door, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's one above. 5 stores within 20 feet of our house. 5 stores, dude, literally within 20 feet. You want breakfast? About a block over, there's a ton of restaurants, all barrios. Some of them got them in their homes, some of them got their little shop, and then you got all the little street food places out there, right? Okay. Say you needed a pharmacy, a drogeria, farmacia. Say you needed one of those. Go on the other street. There's 2 right next door to each other. Pretty much, man, in the barrios, everything that you need, whether it's a shop to work on your motorcycle or your car or whatever, dude. I understand why sometimes when they come from that area and they come over here, because it's totally different where I live than in the barrios. In the barrios, convenience is all around them. You name it, just walk here, walk there. You can send your kid across the street and you can watch them the entire time they go in and the entire time they come out. That's how convenient the barrios are. So I don't want people to get that when I put those videos out and think, oh man, it's just a bunch of rundown. No. You got to understand, you got to see it and understand it. And I'm trying to explain it, but I don't think I'm doing it justice. But there is a ton of value in the barrios, okay? There's a ton of value in knowing your local restaurant owner or your local supermercado owner, right? When you're in the barrios. But when you're on this side of town, this is more like living in the States. You're not going to have a store. Nobody in this building is going to have an apartment as a store, right? They're sharing their apartment, and it's going to be a store. It's going to be a drugstore. It's going to be cell phones. It's going to be a Ghana where you pay all your services. It doesn't work like that over here. Over here, it's more like the States. You got stuff here everywhere, and you can walk to it, but it's spread it out, right? It's not like in the barrio. At Erica's place, you wake up, you walk out the door, you can go right here, you can go right here, you can go right here. They're all over the place. So I just wanted to make sure I put that out there, man, because I think sometimes people hear what I say and they misinterpret it. Just saw the story. Guy tried to ram gate at NASA Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, he just had a death wish, dude. The man had a death wish. My sister told me they got that pay raise on Social Security. Now rent went up $40. They still won't let you get ahead. No, they know what you're getting. On average, people on Social Security on average is about $1,500 a month. You got let's say a 6% increase, right? So you went up, what is that? $90. Okay, so now you get $1,590. Okay, well, I need to get half of that. So we're gonna raise your rent $50 more, so I can get almost half of that $90 you just got. And that's the thing, dude. Like I said, the COLA is just a number. It makes people feel good because they can see more, but your Medicare just went up too. All your utilities just went up too. Your gas just went up. Cell service just went up. Everything keeps going up. But this inflation is just not keeping up. All right, guys, let me get off here. I do have to get up in the morning at about 9. Got some stuff to do tomorrow early in the morning. And then I'll be back later that afternoon, probably drop a video and do the live for Saturday roll call. Now, does anyone have any questions before I get off? I know I kind of rambled and went through enough different topics, but I want to really dive into that pricing and people being priced out, because I think a lot of people are looking at it wrong. I posted some stuff on the other channel of links that I get sent daily of people who are, basically tired of being here. They're bored. They're looking for something else to do. And I tell you guys all the time, you're going to move outside the country. You need hobbies. You need something that you like to do, something that you can get into to keep your mind occupied. For me, it's going to these different barrios. It's learning about new things around the city and just being with my friends. But for other people, I have no idea what they do all day. Not a clue. But like the post that I put out recently, this guy who's half Colombian, half American, that's the way he described himself. Been robbed here 3 times. He doesn't feel safe. And he's looking for somewhere else to go. Life-changing event. Well, knock on wood, wherever son is, all this is metal. I don't think I have any. Oh, knock on wood. I've been here over 5 years. Never been robbed. Never been robbed. But I don't participate in a lot of things people participate in here. So in a lot of the areas that they go, that's not somewhere I frequent. I just see things differently. For me, I just see it differently than some do. There are some people that do similar things that I do they're not out there in the streets at night like that, not hanging out in bars, out in the parks, down on El Centro. Never my thing. I'm not a hood dude. Never was. That's just not my thing. But we're going to get more in this tomorrow. But I wanted to come on, let you guys know the differences, because I knew I was going to get that question. And then we'll just look forward to talking more tomorrow night. All right, guys. But yeah, I got to go, man. I got to get up in the morning. So I will holler at you guys later. And anybody watching this on the replay, got any questions, please leave them below. So until the next time, guys, I'm out of here. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your night.